Thanks, Michael. I'm from North Bay, and we're number 25. Yay! Thanks for that, Zenaida, I think. As you'll see when I do my little presentation here, we're a fairly recent settlement agency. Immigration hasn't been at the forefront in Northern Ontario until fairly recently. So I would hope that if that study was done again, that we would climb up the ladder. The North Bay and District Multicultural Centre is the only settlement agency serving the region of northeastern Ontario, and our district is from Parry Sound in the south to Hearst in the north. It includes the regional centres of North Bay and Timmins. Our main office is in North Bay, and we have a satellite office in Timmins, which is a 4-hour drive straight north from North Bay. It takes 8 hours to drive from Parry Sound in the south to Hearst in the north. So it's a very large landmass. It's 17% of the landmass of Ontario. Some of the smaller municipalities you may have heard of that are included in our catchment area are Mattawa, Sturgeon Falls, Timiskaming Shores, Kirkland Lake. Lots of hockey players from Kirkland Lake. You probably recognize that name. Iroquois Falls, Hearst, Kapuskasing, and Cochrane. Now, the population of North Bay is 54,000, and Timmins has a population of 45,000. The catchment area we serve has a population of 240,000. We've been in existence only 6 years, so we had no historical view of how a settlement agency is supposed to operate. We had an entrepreneurial nature right from the outset, and we fully appreciated the close relationship between immigration and economic development in Northern Ontario. In our 6 years of operation, we've seen a regional rise in the number of temporary foreign workers and international students. The number of permanent residents we serve has quadrupled since we opened in 2008. We're a bilingual agency. Unfortunately, I am not one of the bilingual staff. And the number of Francophone newcomers was 6% of the total last year. And so far this year, it's 5%, but actual Francophone numbers this year are up because our total numbers are up. We're not talking big numbers. I think we've gone from 12 to 14. We are in our first year of seeing interest in international students at the school board level, as one school board brought in 50 students this September. Some will be short-term stays, but their long-range plan is to keep them in North Bay for a long period of time, right through high school, and then through college at Canadore College or university at Nipissing University. Temporary foreign workers are being hired by the many international mining companies we have in the region, plus those companies serving the mining industry. North Bay has no mines, but it has lots of mining companies. Mining engineers, millwrights, welders, and skilled tradespeople are particularly in demand. The healthcare, government, and service and hospitality sectors are constantly looking for people as well. Immigrant entrepreneurs are arriving and purchasing hotels, convenience stores, gas stations, franchise operations, or starting their own businesses such as pharmacies. We have only 2 settlement counselors in North Bay and 1 in Timmins, and we are not funded to serve temporary foreign workers or international students. But as with most settlement agencies, we do not turn people away. When we looked at the numbers of international students we served from Canadore College and Nipissing University in North Bay last year, we decided to charge the institutions, not the students, the institutions, for the service. The college and the university have minimal staff working with international students, and they do not have the expertise developed by our settlement counselors. The college agreed to pay readily, and the university is still thinking about it. That's sort of what universities do, isn't it? Similarly, when one local employer showed up at 4:45 on a Friday afternoon with 6 welders who are temporary foreign workers in tow, we thought it was time employers paid as well. We now have an agreement with that one employer who has 12 temporary foreign workers, 11 welders, and 1 engineer from Tunisia and the Philippines. Most of them want to become permanent residents and bring their families to North Bay, and that's why they're knocking on our door. We are aware of discussions in Ontario at the provincial level to have our provincial funding include service to international students and temporary foreign workers, and we heard it from CIC over the last few days, so those days cannot come soon enough from the settlement agency point of view. Because we hold the contribution agreement for our local immigration partnership, we started working on that in 2005 before the word LIP was even invented. And that came around by CIC later, so we were fully funded in 2009. We did it on a volunteer basis in the first 4 years. So because we have the LIP contract, we have a broader mandate and more tools at our disposal than some settlement agencies. The LIP in Timmins is not led by us, it's led by the Timmins Economic Development Corporation, which is one of our key partners. Seeing the coming changes to the immigration system, economic immigration is expected to increase to 63% of the total in 2014. And the expression of interest program, which we've heard about the last few days, is expected to be rolled out by CIC in early 2015. I understand it's January 1st, 2015. Firm date. We saw the need to get our entire region mobilized. With the coming changes, employers will be driving Canada's immigration program more than they have up until now. While we have been responsible for servicing the huge area that I described, in fact, we haven't been doing a great job outside the major centers of North Bay and Timmins. Dropping off brochures in a strategic fashion, trying to work with partners, has got us some results, but we know there are a lot more newcomers out there than have contacted us. We have a toll-free number, we use Skype, but it's still not bringing in the numbers that we know that are there. So we realize that personal contact is extremely important, at least at the initial stages. So just last month, we invited municipal economic development officers and chief administrative officers of municipalities, provincial and federal government funders to attend an immigration symposium in Temiskaming Shores. That's a scenic city about halfway between North Bay and Timmins. Pathways to Prosperity was a sponsor, and Mayor Burstein presented at the event. We had 64 people attend. We presented the North Bay and Timmins Settlement Agency and LIP models and had a panel of 2 economic development officers, a business owner, and the LIP coordinator from neighboring Renfrew-Lanark districts discuss the immigration issues that they are facing. The economic development officers talked about immigrants purchasing local businesses and settling in their areas, but having limited settlement and integration support. They saw that as a major problem. The business owner talked about the challenges of finding skilled labor. And the LIP coordinator talked about the difficulty of operating a LIP in Renfrew district without a supporting settlement agency. We had a working group meeting 2 weeks later, and we devised a plan to address the issues raised at the symposium. In Northern Ontario, we're fortunate to have 2 funding bodies which aren't available in Southern Ontario. The Northern Ontario Heritage Fund Corporation, which is provincial money, and FedNor, which is through Industry Canada, and these are for economic development activities. So the plan involves seeking funding support from those 2 bodies, plus municipalities themselves, the Provincial Ministry of Citizenship and Immigration, and possibly CIC. So here's the plan. Number 1 is provide resources for itinerant settlement counselors based in North Bay and Timmins to visit participating municipalities to provide settlement and integration services to immigrants. We piloted this concept for the last 5 months with a settlement counselor going from North Bay to Temiskaming Shores once a month for a couple of days, and it's worked out really, really well. She spent a lot of time talking to social service agencies, the Employment Ontario folks, worked out of the Employment Ontario office, and is meeting a lot of newcomers who need our services. We will also include Renfrew District for this component only, the settlement services. It's adjacent to Nipissing District, which is where we are, but it's not part of our catchment area. It has a population of 101,000, which would increase our reach to a total population of 341,000. The major centers are Deep River, Chalk River, Renfrew, Petawawa, and Pembroke. Number 2 is provide resources for HR North to expand into smaller communities. The HR North project is in its incubation period and is not yet sustainable. HR North is a project of our North Bay LIPS Immigrant Employers Council. And what it is a headhunting service for purple squirrels. Purple squirrels are those people who are very, very difficult to find because their job skills are so precise that employers can't find them. So our HR North guy calls them purple squirrels. Millwrights are purple squirrels in the North. The HR North uses the Skills International database, that's in London, Ontario, of some 15,000 skilled international professionals living in Southern Ontario, and it adds university and college graduates. Number 3 is create immigrant employers councils in each municipality. This strategy is an amendment of one presented at the Immigration Forum when it was suggested that each municipality should have a seat at the LIP table in either North Bay or Timmins. We thought the more urgent need was to educate employers about immigration, the expression of interest model, the need to create a welcoming community to retain newcomers, and a myriad of other issues revolving around immigrant attraction and retention. Number 4 was assist municipalities with immigrant attraction and retention. The first idea was we'd help them develop an immigration strategy. That was refined, said no, let's look at the strategies they already have, add a few paragraphs about immigration. I was speaking with the economic development officer in Kapuskasing last week. They did their last strategic plan 3 years ago, and the word immigration doesn't appear in it. Number 5 is participate in a region-wide advertising campaign necessary to set the stage for welcoming communities and to let newcomers know that services are available. Number 6 is a research component for replication possibly of this project otherwise in other areas, and Pathways to Prosperity will assign researchers to follow the project, systematically analyze key components of it that contribute to success, and produce a research report and evaluation. So that is part of our strategy to address the changing landscape in our region. So far it has verbal support from one major funder and 3 municipalities. And we're optimistic that we will be in the implementations phase in early 2014. Thank you. I still have 30 seconds left.